Welcome back to Mac's Garage. If you like what you see here today, don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, comment. Yeah, any of that stuff helps me out. So today I'm going to show you how to determine why your wheel or your caliper is locking up or sticking. So I went to drive this car home yesterday, and when I got into it, I put it into gear and something just didn't feel right in this back end. So I pulled it in the shop, got it up in the air, and sure enough, this right rear caliper is hanging up. I can't even turn this thing, so this thing is locked up pretty good. I'm going to show you how to determine what is going on that is causing this thing to lock up, and there's basically two different reasons that it'll do that: hydraulic and mechanical, and I kind of oversimplified that a little bit, but it's one of those two things. So on the mechanical side, it's basically inside this caliper assembly itself. It could be the slide pins, it could be the piston, something like that, but it is something in here that is mechanically locking up. Hydraulic has a lot more possibilities. You've got brake hoses that can internally fail and basically act like a check valve where they'll let fluid out but not back. ABS pumps can have issues, master cylinders. Generally, if it's one wheel, if it's only one wheel, it's generally going to be like a brake hose if you have a hydraulic issue. Master cylinder is going to affect two wheels, and yeah, so if you have two wheels that are locking up, it could be a master cylinder issue. If you've got one, probably this brake hose. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a C-clamp and a bleeder wrench and determine if I have a mechanical issue or a hydraulic issue. A little bit of background on this car. I replaced this caliper about 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, somewhere in that time frame. At that time, this right rear wheel was locking up a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that the caliper is the issue. I don't think it's going to be a hydraulic issue. Now, why would I think that? Because when I replaced it the first time, I checked this out to see if it was a caliper or a hydraulic issue, and it was a caliper issue then. And this caliper is a remanufactured caliper, so I'm just assuming that because they suck so bad. So anyway, let's get this camera in here a little bit better, and I will show you how to check if it's mechanical or hydraulic. Okay, so I've now got my C-clamp, which I'm going to have to adjust out. This is just like doing a C-clamp test on whatever that video, I did a video on it. So I'm going to be basically compressing the caliper, and I'm kind of destroying a brake pad on this particular one, but the brake pads are already destroyed, so I don't really care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to compress this caliper, and we already know that because this thing is hanging up as hard as it is, it's probably not going to go back. And no, it's not. So now, the way that we're going to determine if there's a mechanical issue with the caliper itself or if it's a hydraulic issue is opening this bleeder screw. If I open this bleeder screw and now all of a sudden the caliper goes back, we have a hydraulic return issue where we can't get the fluid out of the caliper, through the lines, and back up into the reservoir. If I still can't push this back, then we have a caliper issue. Now if this hydraulic system is working properly, we should get a good steady drip of fluid out of it, which we are already getting. So trying to push this thing back, and nope, it is still not going. So there we go. It's dripping like it's supposed to. That means that fluid is freely flowing down through this brake hose into the caliper, and it still won't return back. So that means that we have a mechanical issue. Now again, if we would have opened this, caliper goes back, then that means that the fluid can't get back. Because this thing still won't compress with the bleeder screw open, that means we've got an issue with the caliper itself. So let's go a little bit deeper here. Since I've got the camera in what I think is actually a pretty good angle, we'll go ahead and loosen up these slide pins, which this was an issue on the other side. I already replaced the pads and rotors on the other side. I just hadn't touched this one yet. So I wanted to make a video for you guys. And the fact that this is moving so easy means that the slide pin is probably not an issue. So there's that. Now if the C-clamp did anything, I'm going to be able to pull that out. I'm not. It's still locked. So I'll get my little pry bar, and then this probably won't really do it either. Yep, there we go. So this is prying, and now that I've got the pads past the rotor, that one moves free. Now one of the fun things about these Chryslers and some of your other newer cars, they put the brake hose right in the way of this, so you can't actually remove it. But the slide pins move free, the pads are free. This is a junk caliper. The piston inside of here already seized. 6 whole months. Good job, guys. Awesome parts. So, alright, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna finish this brake job and go home. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you if you have one wheel hanging up on your car. And again, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you later.